Hello everyone and welcome to We Meet at Digital Days. My name is Lisa Richter and I will moderate this presentation. We are very pleased that you took the time to participate in our virtual conference. The topic of this presentation is Electromechanic Introduction of New Products. Our speaker is Götz Schattmann. He will hold a presentation and will answer your questions. Before we start, I would like to point out one thing. You will be muted during the presentation. This means that you cannot ask questions via microphone during the presentation. Nevertheless, you have the opportunity to ask questions during the presentation at any time via the chat function. You will find the chat function in the control panel. This presentation will be about 15 minutes long. The chat question will be answered in the Q&A session in the following. There are 5 minutes in addition scheduled for this. If we are unable to answer all of your questions within this time, we will answer them via email afterwards. If you still have any other questions left, just email us at exhibition@we-online.com. We will try to answer all of your questions promptly. At the end of the webinar, you will be asked to participate in a feedback survey. We would be pleased if you take the time to fill out the survey and help us to improve our event. You will receive the link in the presentation in the next few days. The recording will be available at our website shortly. So now I will hand over to the speaker, Götz.
So hello everyone, and welcome to our presentation of new electromechanical products. I hope you can see my screen. And here's my webcam. Now I hope you can see me. And let's jump right in and have a look on our topics for today. Nice if it could be working. So for the upcoming year, we have a nice collection of great new components. And today I will have the opportunity to present you a fine selection. It's in total 4 brand new products I can show you live here. Well, the first 2 products are even damn new. We only see them coming to our European warehouse starting this week already, and will be fully supplied until the end of December. We're going to talk about the FFC, here the flat flexible cables, and then we're going to unveil our new coaxial connectors in the ultra miniature radio frequency format. Maybe somebody of you saw the last session with Thomas Robock, and so you know already what is it about. Well, there is a new invented part already on our stock from our assembly team. And finally, I will show you some new components from our REDCUBE high power terminals lineup. So let's start with the FFC. And as you know, there are many applications for flat flexible cables and its connectors, the FPCs that you can see here on the as you may know, they are mainly used for connecting displays, keyboards, or just as a reliable board-to-board connection. And by standard, we offer certain polarities and standard lengths, like in 50, 100, 152, or 200 millimeters length. But how often this was not the right length for your customer and his application? Well, we can always offer customized FFCs for your needs, but this takes longer as we have to produce them. So it's much easier just to order a stocked product, of course. So the question is how to make the FFC cable fit in your application. And here's our idea with a pre-folded adjustable FFC cable. The question was, is there something like a one-size-fits-all possible? So this is what we have. And now we can present the new FFC cable, one cable that can be adjusted to fit many length requests by just pulling it in the length. And to cover most of the requirements in the market, you can choose from 3 different ranges, like we have 120 to 200, 165 to 350, and 280 to 500 millimeters. So how do they look? Just here you see the section of folding, and here you can see we have 19 folding for the size 1. We have for the longer folding 41 folds, and for the extended one we have 2 times 25 folds in here to reach up to the maximum of half a meter. So how do they look in general? They are compared to our standard FFC cables, just the same connection, like we have them in pitch of 1 or 0.5 millimeters. Then we can offer them in type 1 or type 2, while type 1, you can see it here on the bottom, contacts are on the same side, and type 2 means that the contacts are on the opposite side. So then we have the 1 or 2 folded types, like mentioned before, different lengths here, and the type of contact is absolutely the same like we had with our standard cables before. So yeah, the folded cables will be available during December. First of them already in the warehouse, but we can release them during this December. So this leads us to UMRF. As promised, here's the brand new Coax type that we can offer. And yeah, my colleague already disclosed it. What is UMRF? UMRF is a name. It's named by Würth Elektronik. It's called the Ultra Miniature RF Coaxial Connector. And it consists of a PC receptacle that you can see here and a right-angled crimp plug that you can see here. And yeah, this format was originally developed by Hyros under the name of UFL series, but there are now so many multiple similar types and vendors on the market that we also decided to offer this type of connector. Well, it offers a range of 6 gigahertz at the impedance of 50 ohms. And it has a very compact footprint of about 3 by 3 millimeters only. So when connected, like you can see here on the PCB, there's the connector and the plug is already set or mated. Then you have a maximum height of only 2.5 millimeters. So it's easy and fast snap-on or snap-off design with about 30 mating cycles. Well, it's not so easy, to my opinion. You should use a kind of tool for that because it's so miniature that you can easily break or destroy or harm something. So you should watch out in the using of it, but this is only depending of its size. So it's general to any kind of connector in this format. By the way, it's fully compatible to the footprint design of UFL and to any other vendors here in the market. Also, stock is planned to be available in both, like in Europe and in Hong Kong, also beginning of December, and first components also in the warehouse here. So what is the target application for that? The major consideration is about limited space. As I mentioned, the size is only 3 by 3 millimeters approximately. So if it comes to this point, and here's what I want to show you, where it's located here. This is a design board from Würth Elektronik iSmart, and you see this is a pin header in a standard pitch of 254 millimeters. So you can imagine how small this component is here on the board. So it's used in any kind of wireless modules or embedded main boards using Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Bluetooth, or any kind of RF communication, like COMSOM, which stands for Computer Module or System on Module. And it also fits in any kind of RF application for secure signal transfer from one point to the other. Just imagine just to connect a kind of sensor, for example, in a harsh environment. So decent cost, also want to mention something about that, because there's a huge difference in manufacturing. Most of the standard coax like SMR, MCX, and so on, they are made by CNC process. This is a difficult process, also implement the automatic assembling and so on, which makes it really expensive, or compared to UMRF, that's really expensive. So here's a major point for UMRF, that jacks and plugs are produced, assembled, and inspected absolutely automatically, which guarantees a high volume, of course, on one side, and a good stable quality overall production. So what can we offer? I already mentioned the PC receptacle, and there's only that single one. There's no angled type available, only this type. Then we have jumper cables like this one, where a cable has two crimp terminals connected on each end. Then we have the antenna cables, where UMRF is connected on one side, and here we have a SMA bulkhead on the other side that can bring your your RF signal out of the enclosure, like a switch, for example. Yeah. Then we have a kind of hand tool for a proper mating and unmating this tiny little connector. And we have also connectors when it comes to measurement applications, that you can connect UMRF to SMA for any kind of test. So if we're talking about such a tiny little connector, then it's clear or obvious that we need to have a small outline cable. OD stands for outer diameter. So 1.13 millimeter is a standard cable, the thinnest one. So imagine how thin this really is. Yeah? And we have a second type, 1.73 millimeters, which is a little bit more robust. And in between, we have the 1.32 type, which offers already a double braid, so protection against RF leakage. And yeah, the insulator is FEP, which is a little bit cheaper than PTFE, but offers the same parameters. And the jacket here, the outer jacket, is available in gray and in black as well. And we already also only act in the area of the 50 ohm impedance. And I already mentioned the area of 6 gigahertz, or 60 would be fine. Yeah. Okay, frequency range again, 6 gigahertz maximum, a voltage standing wave ratio, maximum 1.6, but usually we are ways beyond. So that means we are much better than this one. Insertion losses, you have to refer to the data sheet of the cable, of course. Yeah, it's a complete system. And mating cycles, I mentioned the 30 cycles for the UMRF plug. And here we also mentioned the SMA plug, which offers 500 cycles. So this is one of the major differences between these systems. If you now look to all these kind of forces that you can see here, like 5 Newton, 10 Newton, and so on, that's not really much. This gives you an idea how tiny this connector really is. If you look to this image, you can see that you should not apply any kind of pull force or bending force, so you should be aware of how to put your cable inside of your application. So once again, what cables do we have available? We have the jumper cables, means both ends are set with a UMRF connector. And then I mentioned that we have 3 different types of cable. Each cable we have in gray and in black, and then we have 10 different sizes by standard that you can just choose from the warehouse. And the little tip that we have here, jumper cables like this one, many applications are soldered on one end and need to have connector on the second side. So if you just cut one in pieces, then you have 2 cables for you that fits to your application. So here's the antenna cable. You can see the application that you come from any kind of PCB, and you want to lead your RF signal out of the enclosure, like for a router or something like this. And therefore, we connected here to standard SMA connector, while we have here both formats like the SMA standard and the reverse polarity standard. This one is just for Wi-Fi antennas, this is the most common one. And before you would be asking, we already decided to make this waterproof. So there's an additional gasket inside that brings us to an IP67 compliant solution here. And just to mention something about this, you can see here the recommended panel cutout in the D shape here. And yeah, so you can put this in here. We already provide the washer and nut together with the connector, of course. And here's the additional gasket, like an O-ring. And you should be aware that you have to apply the right torque to achieve the good IP67 specification. So if you tighten it too hard or too loose, maybe this will result in a not proper waterproof connection. The recommended panel thickness is going up to 2.8 millimeters that you can use with this one. So just a list here again. This is the PCB receptacle. We have them in different sizes of reels, like in 1,300 or 5,000 pieces a reel on a reel, but you can also choose to only buy the number that you want. If you need 1 or 10 or 100 pieces, you get them anyway. Then we have the adapters in SMR plug or jack, and on this side you can connect the UMRF. And as promised, this is the hand tool, and this shows you how to use this. So you should use this for connect and disconnect this UMRF type. So with on every data sheet and together with the hand tool, we give a clear description of how to use it to avoid any harm on the system. So that's it so far for UMRF, but we're going to proceed with assembly. And there's another brand new idea from Würth Elektronik, which is a surface mount cable holder. So it offers an easy, fast, and reliable installation of cables on a PCB, like you can see here on this example. So you can lead the wires through it, for example, or you could also put them on top and fix them depending on the size of the cable, of course. So additionally, this can be used as well as fastening of larger components, like you've seen bigger elco capacitors, batteries, transformers, whatever maybe need to be fastened on your PCB. So therefore, it's good that it offers really high holding forces, and it's compared to existing self-adhesive types. It's even half the size of it, taking and a cable tie, as you can see here, can be assembled in 2 directions, like in this way or in this way. And this is also what you see on these images, like in this direction or this direction. It's made of fully phosphor bronze with the tin plating for finishing, and applications as mentioned: battery management, audio system, test system, measuring system. Of course, this has electrical conductivity, but it's not specified in our datasheet whenever you want to use it like that. And it's available in tape and reel, so you can put it on the pick and place machine and let it be assembled like a standard component, like a resistor or a capacitor or whatever. So a very cool thing here. And it's also ready in the warehouse. So what we have as promised is the REDCUBE terminals. So this is just an extension of the extended line. And this offers the possibility to go over the edge with the component, and that makes it easier for some application. And as well, we have the next type here with a U-shaped hole inside. So thinking about components like this one or IGBTs, you can easily mount them and have a very handy usage of those. So sorry, I'm a bit over the time, and hope we still have some time for questions, Marie.
I think we are now really over the time. Maybe we can answer the questions afterwards via mail. I'm really sorry for everyone. But thank you, Götz, for your presentation, and thank you all for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation. The next presentation topic is the automotive introduction of the new products, and hopefully see you there. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.